This is May 8th, on Town of Underhill Conservation Commission meeting. We're starting the meeting late due to waiting for someone to get online by phone. One of our members, Daphne Tanis, is coming on by phone. So first order of business is welcoming Don Toby, Town of Underhill tree warden, and he is also I'm
a forest entomologist.
Yes, a forest entomologist.
And a forester.
And yes, and was very helpful at Green Up Day, measuring trees.
That was fun.
He is here as a guest, so welcome. Any adjustments to the agenda? No? Okay, public comment. Don, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, and this is just going to be quick. I recently completed the Emerald Ash Borer preparedness plan for the town of Underhill. It covers basic information about Emerald Ash Borer, information about how to control it, how to deal with it, and it identifies people within the town that will have some responsibilities. It's a work in progress, or should I say it's a working document. We can change it and modify it whenever we want to. And one of the reasons I'm here is because you folks on the Conservation Commission are really in tune with all these kinds of things, with nature and insects and the trees and so forth. The plan covers town land. I guess I should have come right out and say that this has nothing to do with private land, although I do answer lots of questions from private landowners, and I'm perfectly willing to work with them. But this preparedness plan is for preparing the town to manage ash trees on town land, which is road right-of-ways and parks and common areas. And one of the things I'm hoping to get from you folks is help with the tree inventory. One of the things we have to do first is inventory what we have and what is the health of the ash trees. I have done about 3 miles of Poker Hill Road over the last couple of years, little bits at a time. And just in those 3 miles, there's 339 ash trees that need to be dealt with. So that, and the town has 62 miles, I believe, of class 2 and 3 roads. So we'll need to inventory as much as we can. It's easy. We don't have to do every single mile, but we need to do a large enough sample so we can come up with a average trees per mile figure, and that will help us figure what the town will need to budget for tree removal. And as you read through this, you will see that other towns and communities all through the United States, in the upper Midwest and the Midwest and the Mid-Atlantic states, they've all dealt with this already. And those communities that wait and let the trees just die are faced with a huge problem in that all the trees are dead and they all come down all at once. And another thing to consider is that when you hire people to work on these trees, after they're dead, they're brittle and they break and they're dangerous. So nobody wants to cut them down. And if they do, they have to use big equipment with enclosed cabs, or they have to do it with a bucket truck. You can't just go cut it down because the top will break and come back and potentially injure a worker. So the best way to do it is proactively. We know ash borer is going to get here. It's already in Richmond, it's in Milton, it's in Colchester. Chances are it's here already. We just don't know it. Um, so we need to figure out how many trees we have and then start proactively removing trees. And it can't all be done at once. It's just too much of an expense. You'll be amazed that I've come up with cost estimates in here. I mean, we're talking $500,000 plus or minus to remove all the trees. And towns don't have that. So we need to be creative. I know that Underhill sometimes uses road crews to remove trees in safe situations. You know, they can't do it around power lines. Speaking of power lines, one of the things I've been trying to do is wait for Green Mountain Power and Vermont Electric Co-op to come through and do the ash in their right-of-ways first, and they've been doing that. I noticed on Poker Hill, just in that stretch that I did the inventory on a couple of years ago, Vermont Electric Co-op crew came through and they cut down a bunch of the trees, the ash trees that overlap with our right-of-way. So I had tallied them thinking we were going to have to remove them, but they took them out. So we're going to have to just keep a close eye on things. If trees start dying, then we're going to have to start cutting regardless. But in the meantime, I think we let the utilities take out as much as possible because that saves the town money.
Are there special places that we know of where a utility company would take down a selection of trees? I mean,
they will do their right-of-ways where their power lines are.
Okay.
Not all the time, but sometimes the right-of-ways, you know, when the power poles are right next to the highway, then the right-of-ways overlap. And they would potentially take down trees that otherwise we would have had to.
Okay.
Right now, the power companies are using a 5-mile radius as a marker for taking all the ash. And they're using a 5-mile radius from known emerald ash borer infestations. And there's one in Richmond on Brown's Trace Road, just outside of the Jericho town line. And that radius covers about half of Underhill. And on Poker Hill, it stops right at Timber Ridge Road. So they came right up to Timber Ridge Road 2 summers ago, taking all the ash, and then they stopped. And then further on than that, they just limbed trees, but they left the ash. So it is what it is. Yeah. So to do the inventory, there's an app that the state has developed in conjunction with ARC, the ARC map and ArcGIS systems. And I have 3 copies here of the directions on how to do that, how to download it, and how to use it. I'm going to leave these here with you folks, and you can share them or make copies. This isn't available directly from the state. I got them from Joanne Garten. She's just sending this to the people like tree wardens and conservation committees. What we can do, once you guys have read this and sort of have a feel for what we'll have to do, I want to get together with you and we'll all take our phones out and we'll make sure that we're doing it correctly. And then we can even take a walk up Stevensville Road or somewhere, and we can do some trees together. And then I think we can look at a map of the town and we can assign each other to, you know, we can do it however we want to. You can do it as a group, you can do it in pairs, you can do it singly. But we'll come up with a plan so that we don't have people overlapping and doing the same trees twice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's really the pitch now. That's all I have for now. But Here's 2 hard copies also of the preparedness plan.
Okay, and
I didn't get the email for some reason.
I
Okay.
did forward it to you.
Oh,
Is
thanks.
it
Each have it
Okay.
for it,
Yeah.
email.
maybe it went, no, it shouldn't have pulled up Fairmount again or whatever, the one you have.
I know.
Yeah.
Because I keep going in and deleting that email out of my, I mean, that,
You know, sometimes once you get them, you can't get rid of them.
I know,
Yeah.
so.
Frustrating.
So the really cool thing about the app is you can, there's aerial photo, there's maps with aerial photos. And all your trees that you've identified show up as dots. Here's the one I did last week on Poker Hill. And you see there's green dots are living and healthy ash, and the red dots are dead ones or almost dead that need to have like a priority for removing them.
And we make the decision on whether they're red or green, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
This is sort of cool,
it's
Betsy.
fairly,
Oh, yeah.
you see, you can move and look and there's,
Wow, that's a great tool.
yeah, it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And then you can make a map on the computer, which has like the entire town, and see how much of a problem you actually have, we actually have. What else was I going to say? So the data you collect is tree diameter at breast height, but it's there's 3 categories, so it's pretty easy. It's 12 inches or less, 12 to 18, and then 18 plus. So we'll do some tree measuring together, and once you have a feel for it, it's really pretty simple. Is it in the right of way? We'll have to talk about right of ways and how to determine where the right of way is. It's not always easy. If there's a tree on private property that's bending way over and will definitely fall across the road, then we're tallying those too, and we'll deal with those at a later date. The town can require landowners to remove trees on their land if the town pays for it. I'd rather not, I mean, that could get sticky. So right now, we're just gonna do the ones in our own right of way. But I wanna know if there are any on private land that pose a danger to the public. So yeah, is it alive? There's different health categories. Is it healthy? Is it fair? Is it poor? Or is it dead? And there's criteria for each of those, you know, like 50 to 75% of the crown is dead, that's poor. And not everyone's gonna have the same answer for some of these, but you know, it's close enough.
I know when we were doing it before, we'd look at the tree, and if it was sort of missing leaves at the top, because
Yeah,
it was primarily summer, that I think we
Yeah.
did that for.
yeah. It
That
is,
and-
yeah. It's easier to get the health part in the summer.
Yeah.
And then is it a priority for removal? You can say yes or no.
Yeah.
And you just, the questionnaire comes right up on the phone and you just hit buttons and it's quick.
Yeah.
You can do a tree, get all this information. Plus, the phone is taking a GPS point on that tree. That's how the dots get marked on the road.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's high tech, but the state has it simplified so that people like me can do it.
Yeah, so next steps are, you're going to take this to you don't want anything immediate from us, or what do you?
What I would like, but before, so on the 25th, I guess, this is going to go to the select board for their approval. I would like your approval. You read it, see if there's anything in there think should be omitted or added. And just let me know what you think. I can make some edits. I've also signed you guys up to do outreach, which is what you've been doing all along. We did it on Saturday at the town garage for Green Up Day. Doing that sort of thing to, public awareness.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you've been doing all of it already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our next meeting would be after the meeting with the
Mhm.
select board.
Yeah.
So are you
So-
then just looking for email kind of feedback
Yeah,
from
sure.
us, or
Just
what?
give me email feedback and let me know if you're, good with it. And then at the select board meeting, I can say Conservation Commission's on board with this.
We'll have to then at our next meeting after that say sort of either read the brief comments into the minutes or something.
Yep.
Yeah, because we can't
Yeah,
Okay.
deliberate by email for us.
right,
Yeah.
okay.
I guess it's still deliberate or
Yeah. I can read any feedback that's given online at the next meeting.
Okay.
So just
Okay.
include me in. Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
all right. You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it'll be good to get this going.
What's your timeline for meeting back up with the Conservation Commission to download the app and kind of?
I think if we can get some of this inventory done this summer, we should really try.
Yep.
And I know we all have vacations and gardens and things like that, but just a couple of, just one Saturday all together for a few hours and then do it at your convenience after that. And then, with the app, when you get home and you have, a good connection with Wi-Fi, you sync. And you hit the sync button and all that data goes to the state. And the state forests and parks, the community forestry division. And then it goes, they have a data layer that is EAB, the EAB trees data layer, and anybody can then go on the ANR mapping site and make maps and know where all the ash trees are. So it's pretty cool.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right.
Yeah.
Great.
Good work.
Thank you for the good.
oh, please.
I'm gonna eat this one on the way home.
Or
Finish it.
Take one to share around.
All right. Twist my arm.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, one for after dinner.
Yeah.
One for before.
One for
There you go.
after
I might have to save one for my wife.
Yeah.
If she knows I was eating all this good stuff without including her.
Yeah, that's right. It is a recorded meeting after all.
And it is.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And the
Probably
dessert is delicious, so I already
Yes.
ate mine
Very good.
while you were
All right.
talking.
Nice to see you guys.
You too.
Yeah.
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 Nice to
Okay,
see you.
take care.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Well, that's gonna be a project, huh?
It is. Yes.
It'd be good to have some missions. Another mission.
Yeah, I
Yes.
like it.
Yeah.
I like that you can be kind of independent too once you do it, and so that
Yeah.
everyone on their separate roads can do their own thing. And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, when we did it the last time, we primarily did Mountain Road and some of Stevensville Road, and then I did some Beartown. But you have to mark somehow how far you've gone, so we don't double do trees, which is sort
Yeah, we have some fun, like
Yeah.
people used to do, sort of outline where you do Green Up Day, call a road, or,
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. So, well, next item on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes from April 10th, and I think we need to table those as we don't have quite the right.
Just 3 of us, right?
Right. Yeah.
Deputies.
Yeah. So we'll table that, but I can talk about the Green Up Day debrief, and Betsy, your comments too would be very helpful. Yes, but basically,
Where?
Don Toby stepped in for well, I'm on natural resources and inventory and mapping too, but he stepped in for someone that last minute couldn't come. And I was there to talk about EAB, which was helpful because
Oh, good.
yeah, he's very excited about EAB. And then there to also talk about identifying trees and then how to measure a tree. And it was really fun. There were probably 4 different families with at least 2 kids apiece there, and the little kids loved it.
Mm.
Yeah, so that was really, it's kind of an interesting thing. And a little bit of tree identification. We were measuring a red maple, and so he talked about asked them if they knew how to tell a red maple or not, and they didn't. So he told them how to distinguish it in the spring, and then he asked about what that blooming tree was.
Yeah,
which is
red blooming tree.
It was serviceberry tree.
Oh.
The blossoming one.
Okay.
Yeah, blossoming, yes. Yeah. So that was fun. And again, I guess we thank Brad Alden for being our barbecuer. And then we had someone from the highway department there. And he was very helpful in helping people with put things in the dumpsters and everything too. So
he's a clerk, I think. If he's the fellow that Matt and I met when we first got there.
yes, he is.
I'm forgetting his first name, but he is the son of Randy and Kitty Clark.
Oh.
And I learned that in the process. And he was very helpful and willing to be there, it seemed.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, so it was good. The turnout wasn't as great as we thought it would be. And so maybe that's what we want to debrief, talk about what we could do to have more people there. Or at least have more people. I don't know if we even got as much from the roadsides as we usually do.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it. I remember last year there was almost stuff was tumbling out of one of the dumpsters.
Yeah.
And I didn't go in and peek, but they certainly looked like half full of that.
Maybe. And I think that they hopefully left the gate open because I remember last year, a lot of people came late in the afternoon. Okay. I mean, not enough so that there were things all over the place. That would be helpful. And I know folks had asked for a second drop off, like on the other side of town. And so that's something that we need to start thinking, or the town needs to start thinking about earlier. I mean, because we don't really have.
And it's Nate Guay who provides the dumpsters, right?
He does.
So would it be sort of something that he could make no, he's running his own business on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking if that location would work for Green Up Day, it might get a little jumbled with a combination of his business and maybe interfering with his business.
Maybe.
Wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I did notice on far end of Pleasant Valley, not in Jeffersonville, but still Underhill, people were picking up the black garbage bags. And maybe that's what they did anyway, and just, put them in with theirs and paid for it someplace. That's possible too, but I'm not sure.
Do you feel like there was less hype around Green Up Day in general, like for even getting the green bags and the whole organization, like statewide rather than just Underhill, or?
I think statewide, they were constantly starting about, I want to say about the beginning of April. Maybe there was one email in March, but then they started sending a lot of emails, which was almost a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And it seemed like there were a lot of requirements that we had to do this time. For example, identify if you were not having a town truck come with whatever was there, identifying who the hauler was and license plates of the trucks or whatever they're going to be hauling,
Wow.
things like that. They wanted a huge form filled out about a debrief afterwards, which of course we haven't even tackled. So it seemed like quite a bit. One of the really nice things, which actually Trinity told me there, and I didn't realize it, but her son, Gabriel, won in his age category for the poster
decoration.
And
that's cool.
and I was very frustrated because I wasn't able to download it to use it for our posting on Facebook, so I just used the State of Vermont one that was there. But I really had tried to download that one. It might have been my technical skill, I don't know. Anyway, do you have some comments about Green Up? I thought you did a wonderful job with the setup and everything.
Well, yeah, we had our town meeting set up, and unfortunately it was really, really windy, and that caused a problem. But I only went to set up and derobe, and Karen, you were there pretty much the whole time, I think, as our spokesperson. But I just wonder how much the schools, like, if we could get somehow Green Up Day people to go into the schools and do something and have bags available at the schools.
That's a
just to get more, I don't know, I was really impressed driving through Williston. They had a tent up and people were everywhere, and unfortunately they are able to have the bags collected by the town, but it was buzzing, hopping. I mean, not just Williston Village, but anyway, that's just an idea. Just if we could get to another population or something.
Yeah, I feel like there wasn't much of a buzz about it this year compared to last year. Like, even at school, normally I would get like a roll of bags and go out with the kids on Friday, and I don't know, it just didn't happen this year, and none of the other teachers really did it either. And I'm like, maybe there weren't as much like emails or weren't as much information available from the folks at Green Up Day, the actual organization in Montpelier. I don't know, it just didn't. Or last year was kind of, we were coming out of COVID and people are excited to be outside, and it was just a great way to get back together. And now we're a little bit more removed and people just have their own individual plans and aren't.
Yeah, I don't know how the bag Green Up Day bags actually work, if the town has to order them or they're just sent. But I know that we were waiting for hours for a while, and so maybe, and that I think was sort of a tie-up with Montpelier, not us. So,
does it make sense? I don't know, was it Brad who sort of was the liaison with the Green Up Day organization for our town? Do we know? I'm just wondering if someone next year, if we had someone from our group, I mean, it's one more thing to do, certainly, sort of keeping the ball moving or inquiring or, mean an email here and there. I don't know. It's just
yeah, I mean, I think that the emails go to Brad and they go to me.
Okay.
And I'm the default this year because the person, I think Pat and Jerry Adams were doing it for years. And actually Jerry was there helping, but they would sort of, they would actually drive around and pick up bags if they found them on the roadside, which was what Jerry, I think, was doing before he didn't find any on his way here. But there is not we have not had a defined
right
person that would really work on
We talk about the
Communication.
date, but we don't sort of do much about the
Yeah.
lead up. And it's not anybody's fault, it's just, or might just be something to, when we hear about Green Up Day, to jump on it with a small partnership or committee or.
Yeah, I think that would be probably a good idea on the day. And the only other thing I thought of with all of this is that for at least two of the families, when they came, I think, because they were committed to Green Up, but they had baseball games for one child in the morning and another child in the afternoon. And I'm wondering how many other families maybe didn't, had to do the baseball game or softball game.
Sure,
obviously. Yeah. So that's something we want to, maybe we can have a special something Friday night instead, or
Right.
There's some, yeah.
Yeah, like, or get the bags out somehow with Saturday being the finale. I don't know. Why doesn't the town pick them up? Is it they don't want to pay the employees or something? Is there because it used to happen.
Did it used to happen? I remember there was the town truck up at the Casey's Hill Park there, just to, take things in the truck. And I think, but maybe they used to
it was
go,
Pat and Jerry.
that were picking up. It could have been, maybe. I know that the year that was at Casey's Hill, people were dropping off things that, or it should have been recycled, not Rena type of things.
Well, and not to prolong it, but has it always been up at the town garage? Because I know that can feel really far away for some people that live in Underhill. Like, it is far away.
Yeah.
It's probably 25 minutes away from the end of Poker Hill or something. So,
Yeah, it is. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
almost like, obviously we don't want to set up dumpsters in the nice park that we just cleaned up earlier this month, but I don't know, bring it down, even Casey's Hill area, and having a tent like Williston, having it visible to people driving by. Or my other thought was if we handed out the bags in a special way, right? There's some event and you drive up and get your Green Up bag, and then next Saturday, so you have all week to do it and then get your bag in a fun way rather than going to one of the markets and asking.
Yeah.
And then there's, Tetros own that property that was the old sawmill. And I don't know, logistically or legally, if that could be a place to collect where it was very visible and also
Midway, yeah.
And it's we could even team up with Jericho for that, so that people in the northern part of Jericho could go there, and it could be more of a combined thing than just our town. But anywho.
Yeah. So April
yeah.
is when stuff starts coming?
It was April, but we didn't get I could look. I think I could. I think it was April. But we could get, I know the bags were late. So, but that would be good. I mean, maybe a special handing them out.
Yeah.
2 years ago, or maybe it was last year, I went mailbox to mailbox on Upper Beartown Road and gave people bags. This year, there seemed to be not a huge supply of them. So I remember, Brad was being very careful about leaving them at certain places to make sure that there was enough to go around.
Right.
I feel just a pop-up tent, here outside of the town hall Thursday night before Green Up Day, come get your bag, and people could start on Friday or Saturday. And
that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
And maybe even have something else happening that would be enticing.
Food truck night early or something.
There you go. That would be, okay, we could bring that to our joint meeting tomorrow. That could really work out for both of us.
Yeah.
Food truck night and Green Up Day bag handout.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Very fun. Okay, well, thank you for all
Yes.
those comments and
Sorry.
ideas. I think that's good.
You have great ideas,
Yeah.
Lily.
Yeah, you do. So, for the, let's see, educational events, can you tell us the
Yes.
update on the bird outing that is going to be happening?
Yeah. So we have Rebecca Waterman, who is, new to Vermont, but has really gotten into the birding scene here. Let's see. I was just kind of looking for her information to pull up, but she'll be here on Sunday, May 21st, which is actually the same day we did the bird outing last year, but it was Saturday, May 21st. So Sunday, 8 a.m. till about 11, but it could end a little earlier than that, depending on, how people feel and how long they want to be out there. And we're going to be at the Crane Brook with binoculars and looking for unusual bird sightings and sounds and nest building. And yeah, it'll be great.
It came through loud and clearly on Instagram. It's so neat to see
Mm-hmm.
the activity there.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It's really wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you the only person that can post? Because I took a few photos of people the kids measuring the trees. So
Yeah,
I could send them to you.
that'd be totally fine.
Yeah.
I'm also happy to hand the password out to people, whatever makes the most sense. But I'm also fine to just take any photos and post them.
Yeah.
So that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was wonderful. It's really nice to use that.
Yeah.
I think we should somehow advertise that it's there,
Mm-hmm.
just because it's really good. I mean,
It is good, and it feels a little more formal or something than Facebook does in a way. Facebook has 2 Underhill pages, and then you're posting to both, and it comes in from my name, whereas this, it's more professional, and you get to just post your one thing, and there's no comments or no Instagram drama.
No, there's not. I love it. Yes. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, so about the birding, just the payment and everything, I just want to make sure, so we'll pay her $200 because she is traveling an hour from her home both ways. And she said she usually charges folks about $150 to $200. So I just figure including the transportation and everything. Do I talk to Sherry, or how do we make it official? And when does she,
Yeah,
do I need her address or?
I think you need her address, and also if she can, we need an
Invoice.
invoice.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to. Can she send us one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Send an invoice. And can the invoice happen before the event?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. I might reach back out with more questions about that, or I'll CC you and what I said to Sherry.
Yeah. Keeper of the finances.
Yes.
The petty cash account. Whatever. Yes. Yeah. Okay. And so the next thing on the agenda is policies and procedures, and I'm wondering if we should table that and just do some prep planning for tomorrow's meeting.
And by policies and procedures, reference to rules of procedure.
Yeah.
And did we have any more? We had some table things for from the handbook, didn't we? From last meeting? Weren't there? And I'm not wanting to get into that at all by any means, but.
Well, what we had is for example, the mission. We're going to come back with a mission statement.
Right.
And I think that there was also going to be an update on the butterfly project.
Okay.
And I think I'm on that one with Trinity. And no, let's see, butterfly is, yes, Craig, Julie, Trinity, and we did not meet.
Yeah, so weren't there some things that I remember Craig saying, we'll table that,
Put a pin in it.
put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it.
Um,
Let me see.
there was something about the strategic planning for next month. It
Yeah.
says, let's see.
Yeah, and I did not put that on the agenda for today, only because the Crane Brook joint meeting has
Yeah,
to
committee,
happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think, and we're not even all here, but I seem to remember if next month we could revisit, as you suggested, the rules of procedure and any undone stuff from last month.
So be the mission, an update with the butterfly. And maybe because Trinity is new, I could ask her if she wants me to kind of organize a little meeting.
She was being a mother, needing to be home with her boys tonight. That's why she couldn't come.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and even the rules of procedure, I mean, people read them, and if they want to change the wording or something, or did we leave something out, that would be sort of easy. So maybe we should say next time, do the rules of procedure, but then talk about strategic planning,
Yeah.
because we will then have had some input from the rec committee to know projects that we could do jointly, and also we have some big ones on our plate on, let's say, creating a conservation commission fund for purchasing things if we're doing to do that. Oh, maybe I should have Libby Strong come to our next meeting.
We also have what Toby left with us.
The plan.
Somehow figuring out when we do that training, and I'm assuming he wants us to do that sooner than later. Isn't that what kind of left us with?
Yeah, I think that, yeah, he'd like some feedback from us before the 25th.
Yeah. Okay.
And then officially we can put it in our minutes on June, is it like 7th, Monday, June, is that a Monday? June 7th, maybe it isn't.
It is the 12th.
The 12th.
Is the second Monday.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
So does that mean we are not doing any plant sale stuff? Is that off the table since?
Oh my goodness, we should be discussing that at this meeting, shouldn't we? Well, didn't Betsy just hand us some information? Do we want to take a couple of minutes and just look it over? Would that be okay? Yeah. And we'll just talk about it right now. And where did you find this?
Well, it was in the box that you gave me that Dan had all of his ash borer stuff.
Oh.
And I thought, whoa, I don't even know why it came with that stuff, but
and this was from 2022.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So is this because he's a master gardener through UVM? Do you think that's?
Maybe, but it's
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
University of Vermont Extension.
and it's Dr. Joseph Gores who gave our. I don't know, but it's definitely important and helpful.
I know that Pat Sabalis had sent us an email, maybe it was not last year, it was the year before, about jumping worms. And she does a lot of, I think, volunteering with the extension service. Maybe this came from her.
Oh,
yeah. So, and then last year they wrote it up, but she started sending information before I realized it was
They
a
were-
threat to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's recommendations about minimizing the spread. And
I know some friends of mine actually bought some little trees at a plant sale, and then they bought some shrubs. And I think some things were like peonies, but they were all bare root.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Winooski conservation folks just had their tree sale, and they were all bare root stuff. And we would need to get this information out to people, or on the spot create bare root
Oh, maybe
specimens, right?
that's true.
So it could happen right there outside.
Well,
Could be.
it would be like a checkpoint, I would imagine, sort of idea.
But not all plants can they go bare root? Or people would just need to be prepared to plant them like the moment they got home after the plant sale?
Right. It says, consider selling cuttings and water or bare root plants to minimize introduction, and inspect to see whether more soil needs to be. So talking about going from bucket to bucket, washing the soil away from plants, or people bringing them bare root wrapped in newspaper, or I don't know, it's,
This is sounding like the washing of the boots is what a lot of vets do. And the animals they change their boots even. I had a vet, wasn't my regular one, come, and she took off the boots she was wearing, put on some boots that hadn't been worn, went in to see the horse, took them off at the barn, and put back on her old boots.
so as not to pass anything.
Put on, yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting for that. Well, and also, that happens when we're looking, I do things, investigator for the Native Plant Trust, so I go to try to find rare plants and
Right.
things like that. And when you go to like Lake Carmi and you go to their bog, they have a black spruce bog there. You have to wash your shoes and boots off before you have to get permission to go in the bog. But if you do, then you have to put boots on, wash them, and then go to the bog.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting. Yeah.
So in order to do our plant sale in a healthy fashion, we'd have to really enlist people to be participating in bringing bare root, or being willing to go through a investigation of plant Nazis.
On the site, on the spot, on surveillance.
Yeah, like, I don't know if the town has a outlet for water.
Oh,
bet it
it
does.
does. Yeah, I think it's.
Maybe, we could have a washing party.
What would we do with it?
I know.
Because we wouldn't want to.
No, we wouldn't want to just.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Right?
It's a little more complicated than having people bring their plants and going home happy.
And then what if people don't get the message and bring plants? We just don't sell them, but people could take them, I guess, again.
Yeah.
I don't want to be complicit in.
That didn't feel very good.
No.
But, I mean, what else have we got going? That's our main fundraiser. Are there other things that we could do instead?
Well, I still have art that was given to us to sell. I kept it.
Oh, right, from Carolyn Sabine.
Yeah. So we have that. Oh, I wonder if we have to have maybe a special conference call at least or something next 10 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Coming up really fast.
June 8th, is it? Or,
I think it is.
Right.
First Saturday in June.
It'd be interesting to hear Craig's take on like the plausibility of being able to get people to bring bare plants and what ones, like if you had a columbine plant, could you even
Right.
really, they're so fragile, like
and
I
it's a
can't imagine
taproot,
being able to
yeah.
pull it out. Yeah. So I don't know.
Just back to the date
Yeah.
quickly,
Sorry.
it's the 3rd or the 10th. The 3rd is the first Saturday in June.
Oh, that's usually when we have it, isn't it?
And that's 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks away.
I'm wondering if we should be doing it. Maybe we could push it to the second Saturday.
Well, one thing that we have done, and it's been hot on the press, we've had a program about it. The Deborah Ross and Penny just had a great one. Is it big enough an issue to sort of say maybe this year we ought to let it just go and give people a chance to prepare a little differently for a plant sale next year with some added attractions? I don't know, that's
Yeah.
that's my feeling about it at this point. It's sort of,
Mm.
are we being very honest about advocating for prevention and then having one?
And actually, if we not have it, it would be a good opportunity to kind of, I don't want to say, okay, spread the word.
Right.
Spread the word, not advertise, but spread the word about jumping worms and why for this year we might be holding off having it. I know a lot of towns around here will have it, but I think it's better perhaps for us to be cautious. I mean, we're in the middle of all these maple sugars and I mean acres and acres of maple trees, and they're going to be the first one or one of the first to go if the worms get into the woods.
Yeah.
So that would be, yeah, I think that's a good, you're right about that. Maybe we can take a quick vote of, I think Craig's coming tomorrow night, and I think Trinity is of the folks tomorrow night,
Yeah.
just to make it kind of legal.
Right.
Yeah.
Have it be more of a consensus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. I mean, good. Yeah, I think you're,
Seems like a lot to pull off to even even without the jumping worms way, but I
yeah,
think we could be creative next year and anyway.
yeah, okay, good idea. Okay, so the next item is then planning for tomorrow night. And I think what we were going to talk about is Adjourn. Whoops, I thought I had
Oh, your agenda?
the agenda just so we could see what the items are, but I think I have, I'm sure, I thought I had one here.
I have it here.
Yeah, okay. So we can just do a little planning and maybe questions that we want to talk about, or if we have some ideas.
Do we? And we are only 3, so it's kind of a silly question to ask. I'm curious to know, I would be curious to know at some point if there's somewhat of a consensus that from the Conservation Commission, that Crane Brook that it not become a park per se, but a natural conserve. I mean, it feels like,
Did you say preserve?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Meaning, balance, we've had this conversation a bit, and I just almost feel like working with the other organization, we might want to be unified in how much Crane Brook can budge out of being a preserved land area. I mean, definitely needs to be on people's radar more, but so that it can be enjoyed. But Matt was riding through there the other day, and in the picnic table, there were empty wine bottles and empty beer cans.
Really?
Yeah. And that's just so discouraging. But it happens everywhere.
It does.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I'd love it if we could come to some consensus so that we're a united front on that. But maybe I'm being too literal,
Well,
too rigid.
yeah, I mean, there's, it's almost like if you have a table, people are going to have a pic, you know what I mean? But I'm wondering if it doesn't seem like adults would come out there with beer cans and wine bottles and leave them, but they could. It's possible.
Yeah.
But that's something to talk about. Yeah, that would be a good thing to bring up, for certain. But I mean, if it's, that's, I want to see what I have on the agenda.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's a good
parking's one.
Yeah, well, the parking area, because we have that area
Mm-hmm.
there, but the rec committee was going to kind of handle it with Nate. And so this is a good opportunity to say, is that still going to happen with the road crew? And approximately when, and what kind of, will there be a sign there for parking, or, I know that up on Stevensville Road, there's a sign, skiers park here, sort of sign, so.
Pencil?
Thank you. Yeah.
And
Okay.
at this point in time, the location is where along the side from the kiosk to the gate, is that right? Or
Almost to the gate,
okay.
yes. And then, and I just want to confirm that if that's, because the flags were there last fall.
Okay.
And then I noticed that, you probably did too, driving in, there's a sort of overflow parking spot, but there's a huge dip in the road, so.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, excuse me, didn't mean to interrupt you. There's a bus turnaround down there now.
Oh,
I'm quite sure that was made for a bus turnaround because there are children that in Marcy's household or up in her neighborhood, children who ride the bus, and they needed to make available it. But you're right, it's like a huge ditch.
yeah,
I don't know how a bus would do.
yeah, it's quite a ditch. I'm wondering if that's a mistake when they were ditching.
Oh, and then I was told that the culvert was taken to use when we had such rain happening earlier.
Oh, so,
Trains coming into the station.
oh, that would get my attention. I needed sort of attention, things like that.
Anyway,
Yeah,
so parking, identify the location, we'll
yeah,
nip it in the bud.
And so on our advertisements, we wrote 75 New Road,
yes.
Underhill. Is that kind of like the official Cranebrook Conservation District address we're going with?
Well, it's where the town garage is. That's
Okay.
their address. So if there's a 77 New Road,
Or something for Google or whatever.
then
Yeah.
75 New Road, I
Yeah.
guess is the only one unless we can get one. I'd hate to be tied to the town garage, but
Yeah.
the Crane Brook is also before the, oh,
Right.
But-
Right. Okay.
yeah, I think, okay. Yeah. Okay, so we have that. And then we can find out about the cost. I believe he actually itemized the cost even for, which is, I think. And then signage, that could be signage for there. The other thing I was noticing when I was off on one of my adventures looking for, I think I was hiking some other place, is in a lot of, and I know where it is, the Milton Town Forest used to have just beautiful signs everywhere. I mean, it's not everywhere, but a lot. And there aren't that many now, which means I don't know if they were taken down, stolen, or whatever, but now they're putting blazes on the trees, painting them. So that if the rim trail were, I think it's blue on the map, it would be painted on the trees. And not a huge thing, but it's like a stripe down the tree. That might be something to do.
So that's an idea.
That's an idea. That might be a Lori, Craig, and Karen field trip.
Yeah.
I'll
hold the paint can.
Craig will do the paint.
Yeah.
I got the paint.
Yeah. So at some of the other things that we want to talk about, one is maintaining a pristine area. I think that's, and I think that's something that we're all going to have to work on. Doesn't look, I haven't been there to walk the trails for a while, but it doesn't look as trashed as it sometimes does. Other projects, I know that Anton may be talking about biking in a limited area there with the kids.
It's gonna turn into, I've just seen it so many other places. It's a huge problem with land. And there are so many places to bicycle with your kids, but
I think it's more not that, but more an after-school program, probably in a limited space, is what I think it is.
well, there was one last year there, right?
Yes, and I think this might be the same thing again this year. I don't know anything about it, but I'm hearing that it might be
So what do we think about that? I mean, I'm feeling like a Scrooge because I'm so opposed to it. But just because it seems so against what that land is all about, and knowing that there are other options. You know, if I don't know, if we're wishy-washy, then we were wishy-washy.
Yeah.
And the results follow.
Yeah, well, we do have one area cut from Irish settlement across. It's across. And that, I don't know, but that might be the area. And then biking up the old trail, the old road, Class 3 road or something. I don't know where they're planning to go or anything about it.
Well, I can say last year they were not at the entranceway where the gate is on Irish settlement, the trailhead that's further closer to town. There's another trailhead you can access the trails of Cranebrook. There were signs saying biker kids meet here, or this is a trail designated for the camp.
Wait, so where is that exactly?
It's near a big rock. So
Is it on Irish settlement?
yeah,
But it's not close to where the old apple orchard and that main gate, it's not that gate. Oh, it's another gate?
so if you were coming from Shears and you passed the main gate on the left, it's further down Irish settlement towards Sand Hill on the left. And it's just a trail entrance, and
it comes out on a
meets up around above the town garage, kind of curls around up through there.
Okay, I
And
know.
that area where we discovered the chinked out logs or the bridge of trees. Amy and I think, found that one, or some of us know about it.
I know that there's a boardwalk there, but that was intentional. No, there's something else now?
Oh, it's been there for a long time.
A bridge of trees? I've seen the log.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, I've seen that. All right.
which is further in, but the entrance of the trail is off Irish settlement, and it curves around and meets up with some of the other ones that are up behind Sandy Murphy's house and that wet area that the boardwalk's been built in.
Yeah.
And I happen to know that I was there on my bicycle riding on Irish settlement, and there was a cardboard sign with markers telling kids that this was a trail for whatever the camp was.
This year.
Last year.
Okay.
And that was the confusion when I think we knew that was happening, but no one had said anything or inquired as to permission or whatever we're supposed to be getting. I don't know.
Okay. So
what I'm trying to say is it's likely that if there is conversation about a camp being held up there, it won't be on the link trail. It'll probably be partially on the link trail, and maybe they'll meet up at the picnic table. I don't really know, but maybe we'll find out more tomorrow.
yeah, and maybe it could be on the link trail and from Irish settlement to the link trail. I mean, maybe they could, for the camp, if there's a camp, be in just a meadow where the walking area is, or something to keep it out of the wet, because it's been a little wet this year. We've had a lot of rain, And that's not, I mean, what we don't want is erosion, and now we're moving into bird nesting time,
So
Yeah,
my thought.
would it be helpful tomorrow if we bring some printed out copies of our map and
Yes.
Anton can just let us know where the kids are biking and we can just look at it just for reference, and so we're all on the same page about where people are biking, where people are walking, and
Yeah.
could we print them here, like some of the
Yes,
Steve's maps? And
I think we can print Steve's map. Do we have a copy? We have a copy.
yeah,
Yes, we can print them here.
yeah,
Then, yeah, as long as we have a copy and it's not off in,
yeah,
space somewhere. Yeah.
so that we can have that. And
where is the copy? Because I'm happy to print.
yeah, I'll see what I've got in my inbox and see if I can forward it out.
If you have a copy in Instagram,
I do, yeah.
and that's,
But I have it as like a picture on my phone.
Oh.
So I just need to find the email that it came from. But
okay.
yeah, we'll find
Yeah.
it.
So technically, how would that work? I'm just offering to do it because it's a job that needs doing. Would I receive it on my phone and then?
We could send it to Amanda.
To print out.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
oh,
just do that
super.
and just have them here, ready.
Print out 10
Yeah.
copies or
Yeah.
so, and then
Okay, yeah, that'd be good, and then we can have
ladies.
that conversation. I know that in our management plan, we do say that some trails will be closed for bird nesting, and the woods feels like, to me, where birds would be nesting.
well, we can know more
Yeah.
too after.
Yeah, we'll find out, we'll
Yeah.
get some information.
In the recommendations from the rec committee, the Cranebrook District Trail Stewardship, it says 2 groups will meet biannually to assess trail use, trail development, trail restrictions, as well as to assess maintenance needs. Workdays will be planned as needed, and the community will be invited to participate in trail maintenance. That was,
Yeah. Maybe tomorrow morning I should go over and walk. I haven't seen the trails recently. I mean, maybe the last time I was there was I was there in the winter too, but I was gonna say when we walked it, but I was there in the winter.
Yeah.
Maybe I should pop over there too, just to see. You're not able to go for a walk. You know what I mean. Oh, no, I forgot your boot. I keep thinking just your, I forgot about it. I'm sorry.
coming out of the boot, which is great. But it's,
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I'll go tomorrow and sort of give it a quick walk and see. Yes.
and then, I think having this, reviewing this, recommendations is a good idea.
Yes. Rapid response, what's that? Not now. I gotta get back to my.
I don't mean to be such a stickler, I just worry so much that it's such an amazing little place that will get lost and heavily trodden upon.
Okay, we'll talk about that. I know that particularly Seth had talked about having an area more towards the other side, the far end, sort of as an interpretive place with a little sign saying whatever. And I'd like to find out a little bit more about it. Had they given it more thought? And if so, we still have to be very careful with what's around there, because those areas are what Ethan said. You just don't sort of leave them alone. You can look at them, but don't do anything with them. And so that would be, I think, another thing to bring up, see if they're ready to talk about how that's going to happen and physically. Would they stand on the present trail? Would there be a slight little walkway in the wet? It's rather wet there.
Yeah.
Or would it stay the same as it is and not disturb anything? Maybe just a sign saying, oh, you're biking or you're walking by
Yeah.
such and so. And I think it might also be really good to find out if there had been any other thoughts about how to get over the brook or whatever, the old culvert area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wasn't there one time some interesting conversation about creating like a landing for bird watching in some of, I don't know which piece of property it is on though. Do either of you remember that?
Is it past the old culvert going north? Or is it on the lower side by the class, more the class, you know what I mean?
I think I don't really know, but it sounds more like it's there than in the culvert location.
Yeah. Or
anyway,
yeah. Or we could have sort of a landing though, even just over the culvert. Yeah, that would be, that's something, I don't remember that exactly, but that would be a very interesting to bring up. And it could be that I'm confusing that with the interpretive as well. So, yeah, what else do we want to talk about? There are quite a few projects that it might be fun to do, but it's not at the Crane Brook necessarily.
Right.
So with them, I think that
So this is another piece of their recommendation under education and outreach. Crane Brook should have outdoor recreational and educational structures and opportunities to attract families, young children, and those of lower mobility in order to foster a greater respect for the natural world through interactive play and encouragement to enjoy the outdoors. That's that.
Is that the management plan, or is that
This is
the
recommendations from
okay?
the rec committee.
Okay.
I don't know if I have.
the management plan, did we add that? Those recommendations though are not recent.
No.
They're from when we met in the fall, was it?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
But just probably things that tie in with combined efforts, maybe.
Yeah. I thought that Don did such a great job with the kids, and that I was thinking, is there a way that we can start having special sort of things like that? I did get feedback that it was more with the natural resources inventory and mapping group, but Val did animal tracking up there, and also how to use a compass.
Yeah, that's
Things
right.
like that, and those would probably lend themselves to that area as well. I don't know, but that, and then
So like mini workshops or mini lesson exposure.
Sort of a lesson or workshop, outdoor workshop. I think those would be fun. And we will know more when we finish the inventory and mapping. We already know a lot, especially for Crane Brook, because Ethan did a lot of it. But, that mapping is coming along. And we do have some layers right now. We just don't have the wildlife quarters on. That's the next phase. And they can't begin it until July 1 when the new money is there. for that. But that would be nice to have. If we have time next time, it would be nice to invite Sandy to come, and we will bring, or I can send it out to you, the work that, yes, that's what I'll do, that Arrowwood did for us.
Mm.
And it's using the A&R maps and things like that, but it's rather interesting. It would be really nice to have that. Yeah, I'll do that anyway right now, and then we can, Karen to send out, yeah. And we can, mapping results, yeah. Yeah, we're putting it out there. I think we just haven't talked about how we're gonna get that out there for everybody to see. It's not final,
Mhm.
but it'll be, and I'll forward it to did I not forward it? No? No, did
I haven't seen it, but that,
okay. Okay, and public input on the draft management plans, there was, to my knowledge, none. No, I mean, not much, just a few things. I think there are only 2 people that they supported. I think it was Viking. Yes. I will forward, if I can't find it right off, I will forward the results from Sandy and send them right out to you. And then to everybody. Yeah, the mapping results. And
boy, that's been a lot of good hard work, hasn't it? What you all been doing.
it is, it has been, well, it's been fun. I mean, it's, it's very small group though. And it wasn't meant to be a small group. It was meant to be, more, but people.
I think you have to have a certain brain for some of that.
Yeah, people come and go. And,
yeah.
Okay, so here's the GIS. No, that's a PDF.
Thank you, Lori.
Yeah, I think we talked about having Steve maybe get back into this website and just change the colors of, like, the one that we did all blue arrows for. So if that's not trouble for him, I'm happy to reach out and ask him, but
okay,
this will work for tomorrow.
Okay, so
you're a whiz.
This is from Arrowwood. Look, inventory. Where's the map? I'll send you the inventory that they did. It'll also have cost of how much it costs, but what he sent for is we asked for the GIS label, the layers, and I don't think he's done that. So what I'll send is what he sent us that was basically no, listen, I'll just send what I have. I think that when we went over the layers of the map, because it was preliminary, it was just that meeting that we had, and the visuals were really hard to see. I was at home, Arrowwood was talking to us, but it was all by GoToMeeting, so it was very difficult to see. But
that is hard.
I'm wondering though if Sandy is that important to have her come to our next meeting?
Well, what else?
Well, we're going to talk about strategic planning, but when we do that, it'd be nice to make sure everyone has reviewed the duties that conservation commissions are supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
So that we know that we don't have to necessarily take care of flower gardens. I mean, I'm making that up, but you know what I mean. It's more, it can be some of that work, but it is mapping, it is acquiring land, it is doing things like that, if that's where we want to go with that. I mean,
Yeah, well, that's kind of, some of that's in the mission statement.
so, all right, so,
Proposed in this session.
yeah, so next meeting, I just want to, would we like Libby to come?
And
Talk about how you would,
go about
yeah,
approaching the purchase of
yeah.
acquiring,
Well,
or is that what you mean?
yeah, quite, well, first we have to actually have a little money in the kitty.
Without the plant sale, I don't know how we're gonna be purchasing any land.
I mean, I think that many towns, including towns like Bolton, put like a half a cent on per.
I think that makes such good sense.
Yeah. So how do we go about having the select board to make it a ballot item, and warn it? And are there elections no, it's 23. We don't have elections this fall for anything, do we?
I
No.
don't think so.
So it'd have to be next year for town meeting, but that still would be, yeah. But that's a lot of work. I mean, it sounds like it's a long way off, but it's 9 months, and how do we do that though?
And is that something that Libby would be able to guide us or introduce us to? Is that what you're?
I'm hoping so. I'm going to call her and have that conversation. Does she know how, for example, Bolton did it, or how did Jericho do it?
Richmond does it too.
Richmond does it too, so maybe she's very aware of it, and if she isn't, she could probably say who is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're having that. We will talk about, do we want Sandy Murphy to come and talk a little bit about the mapping?
Oh,
I mean, Sandy Wilmot.
sure. We have
a mission statement we want to go over, and then monarchs, butterflies, a mission. Maybe?
and
Monarchs, and policies and procedures. Maybe we shouldn't have Sandy come.
yeah,
Okay.
maybe, yeah, better to have her maybe in July, or when it's not two presenters
Okay.
or guests. I mean,
So rules of procedure. And the only reason, I mean, these are from a year ago or so,
yeah, 'cause
but
I noticed.
it's part of what is in that discussion of chapters 1 through 4, and it might be chapter 4 is saying, well, we have them, but let's just review them and make
Yeah.
sure that they work for us.
Yeah.
Okay, so rules of procedure, mission, monarchs, and if Libby can speak to it, and it won't be much, it'll be like maybe a 10-15 minute conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And it's Libby Strong. It's LIV.
Why?
Bye.
Why?
One V though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. In the last minutes, I wrote a different name, so I'll fix that. I wrote Libby with 2 B's, so. But they're tabled till next month anyway, so.
Phew. Okay.
So the other thing is, back to Don Toby. Will people need a little bit of an introduction and a recap on what he told us today in terms of coming together to have a training, and that's a major item on our workload?
Yes.
now?
Yeah. Now, do we want him to come back, or do we, or would we be able to? Well, I think we could recap it, wouldn't we? Yeah. It's pretty.
I don't know, has everyone gotten a copy of this?
I sent that out,
Mm-hmm.
so I
April
will
20th.
resend it. So I sent it
April 20.
April 20, so
Yeah.
I wanted to actually check to see if what I sent it to, who I sent it to, because I thought I sent it to Betsy, but if I sent it to Betsy, did it go back to?
Yeah.
That's what I really want to know.
It did go to how do I pronounce your last name?
Chapik.
Chapik 4
Oh,
At
it's
SharePoint or?
at Gmail.
Gmail. Oh,
Yep.
Oh.
But it was a forwarded email, so it kind of like, this was the title forward of Town of Underhill.
Oh, I could have missed it.
Yeah, and it could have come in looking, let's see, where did it go? 20. It could have come in more looking just kind of empty like that, and then you have to scroll down, and then you have Dawn's email, and then the attachment at the bottom.
Okay, now I'm remembering, I think I did get it, but the important thing is that I have it here.
Yep.
I'm sorry,
no, it's understandable. What I don't like about using my Gmail is the way it looks. I mean, Outlook is a slightly different, something I used to have at work, and it's you sort of know more. And you see the email, the preceded, it or whatever. It's a little bit clearer than Google, but I'm happy there.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any others? No one else from the public is here. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn at
8:18.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And, all right.
Wow.
Now,
Then do you want to just hit the record button there and
I do.
we'll log off the owl?